So we get the straight length of wire and we put it in the 10-degree slot. Then you just hold your finger on the wire as you turn this round, just to get the anterior curve. And what that's doing is just putting 10 degrees of torque in the anterior section of the wire. So if you take the wire off now, you've still got a relatively flat wire. But can you see how you've got a little bit of torque? Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to apply that torque. Could I have a yellow pencil, please? Apply that torque as palatal root torque on the upper anterior. So make sure you put it the right way around. Thank you. And then you mark the midline of the wire, and you mark the distal contact point on the lateral incisor on both sides. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the torquing pliers just to take out the torque distal to the lateral incisors. So I'm just going to flatten it out there slightly. So if you look there, it's almost straight. You look here, compared to the torque you have in the anterior segment. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I just grip it with the torquing pliers and just bend it, flatten it out a little bit, just to get that more horizontal, like that. Okay, so I know where the distal of the lateral incisor is now, so that's where I can start doing my bend. So I would pick a 139. I just do the first bend up there. So we've got a vertical bend there.
Get straight in.
And then we're doing the first triangle there. And the idea of the double delta is that you can correct the vertical, the horizontal, and get some torque, all with the same arch wire. So the only bit that's a little bit tricky is the very next bend we have to do, because I have to get this bit of arch wire on the other side of this bit, this wire here. So you have to kind of flick those over each other like that, and then bend it down. So you see how we've got these two bits parallel now. And then, depending on how much intrusion of the upper anterior teeth you want, will determine how much of a vertical step you do. But we usually would end up with about a 2 millimeter vertical step. So if you look at the double delta now, you've got flexibility in the vertical plane because of that loop, and flexibility in the horizontal plane because you can pull it apart. So all you now need to do is you need to get the double delta in the right position. So it'll be in between the lateral incisor and the canine, and then just wipe a little bit more curve into the distal part of the arch wire. Wipe a little bit of curve in there. And if I could have some distal end cutters. So we look at that, and we want to make sure it goes back. I don't know if it goes back to the second molar, but there we are. It gives us an option. So we've done 1/2 of the double delta now, and the important thing is to mark the wire for the second bit, so that you've got room to activate it. So we want that coming around there. So we want that a little bit further forwards there. And then it's a matter of doing exactly the same bends. So we do the vertical bend first. And you try not to make it go too high into the buccal sulcus, because that's potentially traumatic. So you try and keep the vertical bits more or less in the same arch form if you can. And that's an art in itself. Okay, and then once again we have to get this wire inside here. So you sort of flip those round like that. And then press that down. And then again about a 2 millimeter step. And then try and get it back into some semblance of an arch form. You can hold it there, bend it around here. And always keep looking at it from the side as well. So that the distal parts of the arch wire more or less